Building my own cabinets was not on the bingo card for this renovation, but I did it anyways because I absolutely couldn't stand the quotes that I was getting contractors, and IKEA seemed wildly expensive. So I decided, without any knowledge of power tools or how to build a carcass for a cabinet, that I was going to build my own. This was an oversight on my part, but I am in it too deep. And I don't really suggest that you do your own, but if you do, Godspeed, and I'm rooting for you. And you can come at me in the comments because the mansplaining is going to be warranted, let me tell you. I learned how to do cabinet builds on YouTube. Do not use this as a reference or a tutorial of how to actually make your own cabinet. I'm gonna just walk you through the process of what I did and show you some B-roll clips. The very first thing that I had to do was learn how to rip down 4x8 sheets of plywood. Now, I have never used a table saw, a circular saw, and I think I've used like a power drill twice before this reno. I had to watch so many YouTube videos to understand the basics, and I absolutely did not want to mess with a table saw. A table saw to me is just like, that's how I'm gonna lose my arm. It's guaranteed that I'm gonna do something that's way not safe, completely dangerous. Pass on that. The first thing that I had to do was build a jig that allowed me to rip these 4x8 sheets. Once I built that jig, I used my Makita circular saw to cut those pieces down to the length that I needed for my cabinetry. All right, so let's get right into the build. So I had all of my measurements already done because I drew out my cabinets. I knew exactly the size that I needed to make them for our kitchen, and basically did custom sized boxes for the layout that we wanted in our kitchen. When I went to actually start putting them together is when things got a little bit tricky for me, because I was not aware of how important it was that you needed to have squared cabinets. I mean, I knew when I was like researching that it would be important, but I didn't take it seriously enough until I started to build them and saw them put together and realized that like an eighth of an inch is kind of a big deal actually when you're making cabinets. I know I went the cheap route on this. I wasn't using dovetail edges or anything like that. I went and got a Craig jig. I went and did pocket screws. You are using a specific guide, specific drill bit, and you're drilling a hole into the side of your plywood and then attaching it with a screw that basically goes through the hole into the adjacent piece of plywood. And I will insert some clips on how that all works. So this is the pocket hole right here that we made from the jig, and you put a screw into here and it basically goes through the back of this and into this piece right here. When I first started putting these pocket screws in, I didn't use like a 90-degree angle to keep it squared. I didn't use clamps. And once I started getting a few of these other little tools, it made it a lot easier. Even with using all of these tools, I went to make the door fronts and things were not squared. And so I had to go back to the drawing board, make sure I had lined everything up properly, and even unfortunately had to redo some cuts. But in all that being said, your girl built cabinets, and it actually was not as difficult as I thought once I had the tools and once I grasped the concept of building a very basic box, then I was able to build them. So I hope that it inspires you to tackle whatever DIY project you have. I don't know if I would say build your own cabinets, but when I show you the final clips of our kitchen, I am really proud that I built these, and it saved us a ton of money, and I don't regret doing it. What I want you to get out of this is that if you put your mind to something and you watch a lot of YouTube videos, besides not mine, don't use mine as a guide, but you can learn how to do anything, and if there's a will, there's a way, and that is my motivational speech for today. It's not on. Oh, digital leveler. This is what we are leveling with. Wow. Lower on one side of the kitchen than the other.
Okay. Down there.
0.0. Wait, I have to get a video of the 0.0. Wait, look, it's 0.0.